Well, good morning. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. You know that live button went on before I could take a sip, so I'm just gonna put this down and start. Happy Monday! So glad to see you guys. Very excited to be here this Monday. Very happy. Very gracious. I had a really great weekend and a live weekend where we woke up and learned a few things, and I want to share them with you today and have some fun. Listen. If you're new here, welcome to the Smart Life Club. We share inspiration, we share insights, we share motivation. We share things to help your life become more successful, more happy, more of everything that you can have in your life. Good morning, everybody jumping on. Good Monday morning. Sean, nice to see you. I'm looking forward to talking with you today. Hey, Barb, good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you on. Robin, nice to see you on. Today's a huge day. We are going to be talking about what's happening in the world. And if you're new here, do me a favor, put your name down here so I can meet you. And if this is your first time, hey, Peter, nice to see you. If this is the first time you've been up here, you're going to see right up here, there is a link that says StreamYard/Facebook. When you click that link, it's going to give me permission because I use a third party. I'm using StreamYard to broadcast from. So what happens is when you do that, there's a button that says, yes, I have permission to see your name, and it will let me see your name. There's so many jumping here. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Peter, nice to see you on, my friend. Everybody's doing well. We're so excited. We have so much going on. And what I want to talk about today is super important. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just make Mondays what's happening in your world, what's happening in the world, and kind of make that a discussion for a coffee break because, wow, the world is on fire today. The world has been really just biblical proportion things in the air, and I just want to let everybody know what they can do. Let's see. Good morning and happy Monday. The Coffee Break Show, working together to help us all have more. Yes, Karen, thank you, because that rising tide lifts all boats. I just want to say good morning to Karen. I actually missed you this weekend. I'm so glad to see your name pop up. Good morning, Joni. Nice to see you on. Happy Monday, everyone. So today I want to talk about what is going on in the world. Okay, so we have some interesting things. I know everybody's up on the coronavirus. Okay, so the coronavirus is in some countries, in some areas, it's been growing. It's been doubling every day. Italy is having some big issues with it. So's Iran. So's Japan. So is it any cruise ship that you get on. I mean, a cruise ship is actually pretty much a petri dish, but I live by this. I do not go on cruises, not just simply because they're petri dishes, but because they're the number one polluting thing in the world is a cruise ship. They pollute a lot. In fact, they pollute so much that they're not allowed in some ports. But now airlines that are landing in certain countries are being turned away. Like South Korea Air tried to land in Israel and they stopped the plane. They let the 12 Israel passengers off. And then they told the plane, sorry, you cannot dock here at all. You're from, South Korea. We are going to see some incredible disruptions as this unnamed epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, comes in. But there's a couple of other pandemic epidemics that we need to look at. I don't know if you guys know, but there is in Africa and the Middle East, there is the worst case of locusts that has been in history. I mean, it's biblical how they are. If you go to any news channel and you type up locusts in the Middle East or locusts in Africa, it will show you the swarms and how thick and how big they are. The issue is that they are wiping out crops everywhere. In Australia's kind of the breadbasket of the world. It makes so much food for the rest of the world. They have suffered fires and droughts, and they have crop losses this year. We have the biggest crop losses we've ever had in history around the world. And the reason I'm talking about this now, you may be like, I don't need to hear how bad the world is on a Monday. I just want to have a cup of coffee and say hello to everyone. Well, I'm here because I want to give everybody a shout out, heads up. I want to give you a heads up that I think the wisest thing you can do right now is invest in the commodities that you use. Toothpaste, toilet paper, food, and get as much as you can. Because right now, it is the least expensive it is ever going to be. Not by a long shot. We have such intense crop losses and things like that. And we have standstill factories in China that are not producing. They're not producing. So if they have panic buying, which you can see on the news, go to any news channel, panic buying in Italy, you'll see that panic buying is everywhere. But what's behind that is there isn't more. More isn't happening. That more shipments. Right now we have food that came from the United States that went over on a boat to China, and it got to the point where China butchered it and got it all ready for us to ship back to our country. And it's sitting on docks right now, and the meat is dying because there's so many and it's not being shipped, and it has to be kept cool. And right now there are more containers than there are places to keep them cool. Good morning, everybody. I see you popping on. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here today. I just want to take a minute here and say hi to everybody coming on. Happy Monday, everyone. Hey, Barb, it's great to see you. I've been focused on the stock markets this morning. Yes, I believe that is going to be injurious this morning. Before leaving, a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name. Thank you. You are right, Barb. It's all connected. Crop losses, locusts, possible pandemic, time to stock up. You know, it's interesting. It almost feels biblical in proportion. I mean, we've got floods in Tennessee, or just floods in the world, but I'm in the United States, we have floods, we have pestilence, we have a plague, we have locusts. I mean, it just sounds biblical to me. Good morning, Nilu. Nice to see you on, my friend. Let's see. Happy Monday to you. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission. MJ, good morning. Nice to see you, Marie Jo. Really nice to see you on. So, yes, our world as we've known it is about to change hugely. Yes, the world as you know it is about to change hugely. So I talked last Monday, and you can see the coronavirus update in somewhere. Just go to videos in there and you can push it up. But every Monday, I'm going to keep doing this because we are at a state where you want to buy the most things right now. It's like, I cannot tell you they are going to be the cheapest ever because the supply and demand makes prices roll up. Just right now, we have panic buying because all the factories that make stuff are at the slowest capacity or at no capacity right now in China. And so Nissan shut down in Japan, and South Korea is probably going to go through the same thing. Whatever they export or it is going to diminish. So right now, with other countries having panic buying, I'm going to get toilet paper, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, I'm going to get all the others. There's not necessarily going to be a restock of these items. There's not necessarily going to be a plentiful amount that we're used to seeing. Thanks for the heads up, girl. Thank you. And so what happens with people who have like issues where they need a medicine like blood pressure medicine, or maybe they have an inhaler or something? Where do those things get made? Well, China makes most of the pharmaceuticals that we use and all the generics. So if you're absolutely in a place where you can order a little more of that, I would do it. But I do not see prices dropping for quite a while. I don't see it coming back. So let's say it takes China another 30 days. I don't know how long. I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I'm a futurist, and I have a really big, strong economic background. I have a degree in accounting and a minor in finance. And so when I have these two things together, what I look at is the economy, and I look at what's going to be there and what's not going to be there. I know the doctors are going to talk to you about the spread and all of that, but what's happening in the world right now is that supply chains are stopping. Right now, if you go out in China and you just type in cargo ship stuck in China, well, all of China decided to stop the ships from coming in and going out. So there's no shipping happening. There's no shipping of goods and services from our main store. So what happens when there's no goods and services? Well, all these goods and services stop. Now, this is so important to understand the chain, okay? What does Amazon sell? Does it sell mostly American products or mostly Asian products? Think about that. So those people who have, hi, I'm an FBA seller, I have a Amazon store, think about that for a moment. And so we're going to feel the pinch in supply, demand, and cost. Now, if you are lucky and you have a purely American company that you do business with, which I do, I have one of the 4 businesses that I own is a purely American product made here in Utah. So if you have some of that and there's no supply chain disruption, then you're going to have a little bit of supply to go on. So the next thing that is going to be, and I'm going to tell you this, this is my speculation. I want to let you know I invested heavily in it, and I think that you will be smart to do that as well. I think seeds are going to be like silver and gold. Right now, seeds are, I don't know, $1 to $3 per package of seeds. And I'm talking organic heirloom seeds. But in a little bit, they're going to be like the price of gold. They're going to go up, 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 up. And the supply is going to be short, narrow, and small. I'm giving you guys a heads up right now. What would I invest in? Well, I invested a hunk of money in seeds. And the reason you want those is because if your food source gets stopped, don't you think you might want to grow some food? I mean, there's some point where that is going to be sellable online, like eBay. Here's the auction, put a package of seeds up there, and let's see who's going to pay the most for it, because then you get an idea of what your seeds are worth. So the other things that can happen, I'm just going to pop over here. Thank you for sharing this info, Vicki. The mainstream media is barely communicating anything about the COVID-19. Yes, that's very true. The information is very small. We have a lot of politics in front of our place. We're not actually looking at the world as a whole. We're very concentrating on whether it's going to be, Trump and Sanders or Trump and whoever it is at this point. So true, said Peter. Yes, thank you. Vicki is not sharing this info as a healthcare professional or scientist. This is her opinion based on her research. That is correct. Yes, and the things that you can do right now have to be done right now. I'm telling you, right now, things are going to get slow. The supply chains are going to come down and slow. I am giving you the advice that my consulting firm has given all the companies that work with me, all the people that I talk with, all the people that I have hired me. I have been telling this over and over and over again, because if you have a business right now and your printer uses toner and you need to get some ink, some backup ink, you need to get backup supplies of everything right now. It's not because there's going to be a hurricane or anything else. It's just that production is stopped. And I believe production is going to go to a screeching halt even more. Japan is going to go through the same thing that is in lockdown. Every country is following China's example. China put their people on lockdown and closed the factories. It was the only way that they could stop the virus. So what's going to happen in Japan or South Korea? Whatever they make, that's more supply chain adjustments. The supply chain isn't going to ship. The only way to break this virus is that the only thing they know how to do is lockdown. They did it in Italy. They closed the schools, they closed the universities, they closed the shops, they closed everything. And they've already made stationary places where people who have fevers aren't going into the hospital. They're going into these kind of MASH unit places. So as long as this thing has got some teeth, and right now it's got teeth, it's spreading slowly, and the incubation period is weird. It's colossal in its ability to spread. We don't know where it is. But we know that if you had to go down on lockdown, what would you need? If we don't go on lockdown, what would you need in the future that might be so expensive because there's so little of it around? And there's going to be, as long as this pandemic is here, and I'm sorry, I called it a pandemic, this epidemic is, growing, we certainly need to have access to some things right now. And if you're ahead of the game, you're going to save the most money by investing here. Or you can invest here. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to wait, you're going to be paying top dollar for things like toilet paper. Or, shortages cause prices to just skyrocket. So, yes, it's true. She follows reliable sources and shares her thoughts and feelings about the current situation as well as possible and future. Yes, thank you. Good morning. Excellent info. And thank you, Jane Goodhart. You are welcome. I'm so glad you've joined us. Hey, Peter, we feel the same. We only use U.S. products from Utah for many years. Yes, I know, because I work with you. Karen Sachs says, buy seeds now. And she put a link to Eden Brothers. These are one of the best places to invest for seeds. Yes. When you start finding U.S. companies that make U.S. products, you know that it's at least in your home area, the shipping, you know where it's been, you know where it's going to. And I am in the same company with Peter at the same time. That is one of the best gets right now. Interesting. Me too. Even our seed sources are in Utah. That's right. In Utah, they have great stuff. I'm telling you, that state is a rockin' state. The world is already beginning to feel product and food supply chain pinches. Stock up. Yes. Robin and Peter, me too. Home health, skin care, and seeds from Utah. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing, Vicki. Thank you. This is so important to understand because right now, I posted to a private group that I'm in yesterday, I like Canadian news. I think some of the newscasts that I've seen from Canada are very sharp, but I look at everything from Al Jazeera to American to British I listen to all that news. And in that news, you can find or see that there is a lot of information that is there for you to take advantage of so you can see what's happening. Now, what's happening in the world right now, we're all about the coronavirus and politics. But I'm telling you, that locust infestation in the Middle East, and it already went through South Africa, it ate all the wheat. That we usually have a crop loss to wheat rust, but this year our commodities are low. Sugar is already low. If you have sugar, I'd buy a 25-pound bag right now. Just get your hands on some sugar. And the other thing is onions. Onions are, our commodities are low. Our bacon, our everything, our food supply is being compromised right now. We had the biggest swine flu case ever. And so many of those swine were killed off to eliminate the swine flu as well. We have a lot of our food integrity has been so compromised lately. The whole portion of what we can expect the future to be like, it's like our demands for eating, our demands for food are already in a perfect system, in a healthy system, barely keeping up with the demands of food that exist around the world. But when the demand of food goes up and the time to create the food is just the time to create the food. So, broccoli grows, it's 120 days, full stop. You can't make the broccoli grow faster. It's just like being pregnant. You can't, it's 9 months, it's 9 months, it's 9 months. So if your demand for broccoli is going up, but it takes 120 days, this can happen. And by the time the broccoli gets to market, the price for it is really, really high. It's very high. So you want to be able to take actions right now. So let's see. You guys are just talking a mile a minute. Thank you. I'm digging this. Let me go over here. Peter said, thank you for sharing, Vicky. Thank you, Peter. I love when you share as well. We are such global citizens. We don't realize where most of our goods and products are from because often they come from multiple places and countries. That's right. And when those supply chains disrupt, food doesn't go anywhere. It just sits on a dock and is rotting. We have so much meat rotting right now in China. You would not believe it. And trust me, China doesn't want rotted meat on its docks. It doesn't want all that kind of stink, and it attracts more disease, and they're having a rough time. They don't want it there. Go the Canadian SCA. I'm not sure what SCA is, but I hope it's news. I really like Canada's news. I've been watching I've been watching SCA, and I love their reporting. Love it. I think they're very open, and they'll tell you. I think also Italy and Japan has been very good at reporting. I think being aware of the world right now is the number one thing you can do to save yourself. It's a very interesting time to be alive. In some ways, I'm happy to be in a rural area. I usually know where my stuff comes from, especially food, and especially when I buy at the producers, not the box stores. Let me tell you something. If you can right now, I would go to a farmer's market and make sure that you have relationships with the people who grow your food. Make sure that you know where it's coming from. If you have a relationship with a farmer right now, it is one of the strongest things you can have. The other thing is, and I got to say this for everybody, in World War II, everybody had a victory garden. And this year, more than ever, I think a victory garden, whatever you can grow, I don't care if it's a little pot out on your balcony of your apartment, grow something, whether it's spinach or kale. And if you're like, I've never grown any food, well, all you have to do is go to YouTube and how to grow a patio garden, and boom, 1,000 videos will come up. You'll know how to do it right now. But I will tell you this, if you want to have pots and or bags of soil or whatever you want to have, the supply chain is there. You need to do it now. Robin, brilliant reminder. Lori said, I agree. Thank you, girlfriend. Robin, brilliant reminder. We are no longer citizens of our country of residence. We're all citizens of the world. Yes. And I want to read what that was there. In some ways, stuff, yes, from box, especially when I buy at producers, not the box store. I love having relationships with the farmers. Hey, Joni, nice to see you. Good Monday morning, my friend. Thank you for such a wealth of information. Much appreciated and an eye opener. Thank you very much. I want to say something. There is in America a time where we have been hoodwinked by our media into watching something so something else can happen. So a lot of people think this coronavirus thing is not real, or this Africa thing won't affect them. This plague of locusts that's just eating all the food around, it won't affect them. So they feel like, yeah, you're not fooling me anymore. Well, I will tell you, when a country as proud and amazing and glorious a culture as China locks down 760 million people, locked down 760 million workers, taxpayers, people that add to their system. When they lock down public transport, when they lock down there in high, you cannot be on the streets at this time. When they do that, it's for real. No country is going to say, let's stop all our cash flows so we don't make any money and we have zero production for a couple of years. Nobody's going to risk the downfall of their markets based on that. No country would do that. So it has to be so serious to lock down 760 million people. 760, that's 2 United States and another country of 100 million people. That's like 3 countries worth of people locked down. So we have 330 million people in this country. And it would take another 330. That's only, 660? And there's another 100 million people somewhere. That's how big the lockdown is. No country would do that. So again, Italy just locked down a whole section. No country will do that. It harms them economically. It harms the spirit of the people. It creates fear. No country's going to do that unless it's so serious. Iran, same thing. Countries are locking people down. When they do that, all mom and pop stores are at risk. Mom and pop stores maybe have 30 days worth of money. They go from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. And in 30 days or in 60 days, all those businesses are going to go belly up. They're not going to be like, oh, we're open for business now, and we just had, so much time between point A and point B. We're okay. We can go ahead and open up, and there's no inventory for them to put in their stores. There's nothing. The Dow is down this morning, just shy of 1,000 points. That's how serious this is. The Dow is down just 1,000 points. So today, if you have things that you can do for yourself, go get a few seeds, go get some extra food and supplies while it's still there and at normal, what you're used to prices, because the price up here is going to be pretty high. And by the way, nice to see you, Scott. Welcome aboard. And that means good morning, Donnie. Nice to see you. So every single Monday, I'm going to be doing What in the World. I want to be able to update everyone the best I can as to what you can do to help yourself thrive still right now. And we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate that we're still going to have farmers markets in the spring and maybe early summer. But the thing is, I don't know in the next 2 weeks what the virus is going to do in the United States, because I know that there was a lot of commotion about Chinese people trying to get to the United States and flights being stopped. I don't know what came in. I'm not a doctor or scientist. I'm giving you a forecast of economics because that's my expertise. That's where I really shine in that area. And I think for the main focus is you want to I'm working on other medicine other than Western medicine. And it's like, if you cannot get a hold of your normal medicine, is there an herbal supplement that you can use? Is there something else that you can use that's going to help you in a way? And so we want to do this logically. Right now, the locust has ate so much that whatever was planted in several countries, whatever was planted is gone. It's gone. It's not going to be for sale. It's not going to be brought to market. And in Australia, the losses were so big. It's not going to be for sale. It's not coming to market. It's losses right now. So it's time to shop, then isolate, said Scott. Scott said, let's see. Dow is down almost 1,000 points. Wow. Thank you for the real-time update, Scott. Everything is connected, said Karen, and she's thanking you for the real life update, and so am I. Scott said, it's time to shop, then isolate. Been listening. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because that is the last part of the topic I want to go. Scott, that's #truth. Smart you are. Nobody is preparing for this virus. No government, corporation, hospital, insurance company, airlines, no one. I'm reading here. No one. Only individual action can ameliorate the incomprehensible change that lies on the immediate horizon. Self-reliance has been more relevant right now than anything. It's interesting. I listened to a doctor the other day discuss this, and what he said was, we're going to go from 2020 to 1920. And it's not just the point where, let's say nothing happens to the United States, but another, let's say 5 other countries go into this lockdown state. Right now, lockdown, we have South Korea in lockdown, China in lockdown, Italy's got lockdown coming, Iran's got lockdown. All the countries around Iran have blocked their borders and are ready to put their people on lockdown. There's 5 or 6 countries. If 5 more countries have lockdown, we are going to see shortages. We have become one global unit, and trade is daily. We are not letting in ships. We are not doing public transportation. We are moving to the place where it is self-initiated lockdown or lockdown. That's just what's happening. So I believe I agree with Scott when he says self-reliance has never been more relevant than it is right now. Self-reliance is definitely up there. Scary but true. Okay, Donald says, hey, Donnie, good morning, my friend. Donnie says within 30 to 60 days, the USA shores will feel the full impact of shipping disruption. Only 3 states, those being Illinois, California, and New York, have testing kits for the virus, and yet even those states have a shortage. Testing protocols occur if you are confirmed to have contact with individuals from China. If you are not tested, you are not a confirmed case. Testing effectiveness at worst 30%, at best 50%. Wow. Protocol standards are fractured. Most effective course of action is G. I think there's more there, but it stopped. Is GE. I'm sorry, it stopped right there. Give me the other part of that, Donnie. I want to hear it. Hi, Marie France. How are you? Yes, we can use herbal supplements and boost our immune system with quality vitamins. Yes. And I think all of those need to be gotten. And I want to tell you, I use Modere as the supplement that I use. I use it for everything. My whole house is that. And if you want to know more about what I use, do me a favor, send me an IM and I'll send you a link and you can go do your thing. Let's see. And I'll even give you a $10 off coupon with it as well. Scott Stevens says, Australia usually exports 7 million bushels of grain. Wow. Each year, but expects to import grain this year. Now, I want you to look at this for a minute. This is such an important thing that Scott says. I want to go back to it. Remember, I told you about commodities. Well, grains are commodities, and the bread basket. The reason they call Australia the bread basket is because it grows the most wheat. It's really that fundamental to our society. Australia usually exports 7 million bushels of grain each year, but expects this year to have to import grain for the first time. That's how badly they got hit this year. That's grain that isn't coming into the world. That's it. 7 million bushels of grain. That just blows my mind. Due to the fires, whoa, that's going to be tough with shipping challenges. Yes. Now, Scott says droughts and floods and locusts all hammered Australia this growing season. Now, I want you to think about that. Poor Australia. I mean, talk about getting your butt kicked. Let me tell you, the land down under is a great country. It's one of the coolest countries in the world. And right now, it has gone through drought, flood, and locust, and it all hammered Australia's growing season this year. Scott, thank you for these updates, my friend. I'm really digging the data you're giving us. Donald, Karen said that was a profound statement. Be awake and aware and be calm. Okay, Donald said, protocol standards are fractured. Most effective course of action is geographical isolation. Be aware, awake, aware, and be calm. Thank you. I highly recommend Modere. Messenger Vicky for details. Yes. Let's see. We believe that when you are aware of something and had time to prepare and are more calm, awake, and attentive, a much better solution, a much better be positive position to blah. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. I'm going to start over. We believe that when you are aware of something and have had time to prepare, you are more calm, awake, attentive, in a much better position to be in versus full on panic. Yes, this is why we're doing these. I mean, I'm sticking my neck out right here and saying Every Monday, we're going to do what in the world is happening. We want you to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. We want you to be able to take advantage or have forewarning of any of the calamities. We want you to have some of the information you're going to need to navigate what's coming, to navigate the future. Most people aren't thinking about how the prices are going. They're thinking about, well, I got to go to work Monday and I got to get my kids in school and I gotta. And we think somehow that the world is going to continue working and moving just as it normally does. But right now, the train station is not moving. So we have to take a look at the possibilities and what we can do about that. Marie France, this is the year I will start growing vegetables with my mom, as she has done it forever, learning from the expert. Yes, I'm going to tell you, gardens are learning to grow your own food, one of the most empowering things you can do. One of the simple, most empowering things to do. I want to go back and tell you about the company that I work with. I work with them and I promote their products because I think they're the best products ever. But the reason I chose them is they're non-toxic products, but they're a USA-based company. Everything from all of my laundry soap, my soap for my body, my lotions, my creams, my supplements, everything comes from an American company, because what I started noticing is all the supply chains for all those Procter and Gamble, they have, all those factories in China, they're stopping right now. But the products I have, the products I use are American-based products. And maybe we'll make a link of where I get all my USA stuff. And maybe we can put a sheet together so people can just click on the link and go there and buy. Click on the link, and I'll try to get you guys as many $10 or 15% off discounts as I can show you, so you know where you get them in the USA. Robin, so true. Preparedness increases your ability to be calm and successful in riding out the emergency safely. Yes, if you prepare now, you will be just in great shape. Scott, sad but true. #true. Robin says, right, if you already have practiced a fire drill, then the fire alarm goes off and you don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Yes, this is a time to practice your preparedness. That's all. It's all stuff you're going to use anyway. But right now, if you invest in it, you're going to save money in the long term. If you invest heavily right now, you're going to save money on the long term. I'm telling you, you're going to save more money than you know about, because a lot of people are like, I spend $1,000 a day today. Well, you know, that $1,000 today is probably going to be $1,800 to $2,400 later. And the question is, do you want to pay me now or pay me later? That's kind of where we're living at right now. Do you want to pay now or pay later? That investment goes long term. And so you want to save money long term. So let's say if we, Scott says, if we apply the Lancelet's disease progression model to the US, there are already 10,000 COVID cases here in the States. Our lack of testing ability is the only thing keeping the US cases count and perceived threat so low. The time to isolate is rapidly closing in upon us. Wow. All right, where can we get a little more, because I want to make sure this data is correct. And Scott, I trust you because, you know, I trust you. If we apply Lancelet's disease progression model, so Lancet's disease progression model, you guys can look that up, to the US, according to that model, there would already be 10,000 COVID-19 cases here in the States. Our lack of testing ability, which is true, we don't have good, our lack of testing ability is the only thing keeping the US's case count and perceived threat so low. Interesting. So time to isolate is rapidly closing upon us. That's a hefty statement. That's unnerving to me. The Dow just broke below 28,000, falling over 1,000 points from Friday's close as the major U.S. equity indices have broken back below critical moving average support levels. That is huge. Okay, been there, done that, and I prefer the second option. Okay, so Made in the USA. Love it. I do too. I like made in Canada though as well too. I gotta say, I like that. Vicky introduced me to this Modair, and I'm so glad she did. Thanks. Hi, Robert Laws. Nice to see you on, buddy. I'm so glad you're here. I love what you do for us. So what I want to say today is I've gone over. This is 45 minutes, and I want to say to everyone, be grateful right now. Tell those people that you love them. And whatever you buy a little more of what you buy. Whatever you normally get a little more of what you get. I am here not to tell you about what's going to happen or to isolate or anything else. I'm not a doctor. I am doing what I'm an expert at. I'm watching the supply chain stop. I'm a futurist and kind of, I'm a person who does accounting, finance, economics, and I consult with firms and I tell them all of these things. I want you to be able to take advantage, really take advantage of the opportunity to stock up right now. Your supply chains are stopping. It doesn't matter if the market crashes or goes up. Usually companies keep going. The companies right now are at a full stop. China is at a full stop. We've got other countries on lockdown, so they're at a full stop. When things stop, everybody around the world feels the ripple. We are a connected world. So what's happening in this country is going to affect this country no matter what. It doesn't matter. That is how the world is right now. So this is Monday, and tomorrow we're going to have another conversation about something different. Wednesday's guest is going to blow your mind. Let me tell you, Tracy Wilson, I can't wait to meet you. Just like Felicia, she's a friend of mine. She's all the way where she's going to be going live from Australia with us on Wednesday. It is going to be so fun. Every Monday now, we are going to go and we're going to talk about what in the world is happening, updates and discussions. Bring yourself to the table. Let everybody be able to listen to your opinions. Put yourself out there and let's have a discussion about what we think is going to happen, how you can prepare. I am a proactive person. I'm very proactive, and I'm going to invite you right now to say the number one thing you need to be right now is proactive about the future. We are having an interesting shift. I do not know how long it is going to take for us to recover, but as this epidemic, until the World Health Organization calls it something else, is going to disrupt the production of goods and services. Your self-reliance and the cost of goods and services are going to be low right now, but then they're going to start climbing up in price. So right now, take an action. Okay, so I'm going to end this topic right now. The topic was well worth going over today. Vicky, great info. Thank you, everyone. We are connected world. What happens in the world does impact the U.S. Joni says, yes, ma'am. Thank you again. Thank you for being on the Smart Life Club, and we are at the Coffee Break Show. It's been a long coffee break. Mwah. Peace out. Listen, be careful in the world. Be kind in the world. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.